I'm Mia Darnell, and this is my professional practice portfolio. So, talking about work experience, I'd created a CV before, but never really sought out work experience beyond one time, and I found it very difficult at first to build up the courage to put myself forward for these opportunities. Previously, I did work experience with BBC Radio 1, which was a huge opportunity, and I am ever so grateful for that to happen. Um, I did that through a few contacts that I'd already had through family. Um, Chris North is a talent agent for BBC, and through him, I got in contact with Chris Sawyer and Scott Mills and Chris Stark, and I shadowed a show with them, and it was amazing. And I thought instantly that radio was the number one thing for me. Due to that, I've looked for work experience under the influence of audio and sound, um, which has been really rewarding to me. But of course, I won't fail to look for a variety of projects because I may find interest in other things. So first of all, I'm going to go through my CV. This is an online representation of my CV, which is found on my website. My resume under the screen here. On here, I've literally just put a little introduction about myself to say why I'm interested in the subject that I do, why I'm interested in this part of the industry, and what I might bring to the table for for future employers, basically. My skills are labelled down here. So within uni and outside of uni, I've been practicing with Avid Editing, Adobe Premiere, and also other skills that I've developed through working in hospitality and such that would still be brought to the table in industry. So I've put my experience down here in order of time and also what I feel is the most eye-catching towards a future employer. So just down here, I have put about my shadowing at BBC Radio 1 because although it was a long time ago, it shows that I had that impotence to put myself forward and get to grips with what was going on in a real life running studio um, so far back. Throughout this project, I've also gained work experience, which I didn't think I could get because I'm not a particularly confident person. The Liveness project, Open Music Archive, I reached through contacts through the uni, and then I furthered my contacts to people such as Laura Shasham. So she works for Film and Video Umbrella, and paired with Eileen Simpson and Ben White, they work for that Open Music Archive, and they've put together a project which experiments with music out of copyright to make something new and build upon what they've learned about it. So the experience I got was very rewarding because I did a lot of audio work. I did interviews for contributors that were in bands from the 50s and 60s, which was amazing. And I also did some filming with some cameras that I'd never used before. They were very high tech, but I got used to the process and will be continuing this process until I think March next year. So I'm really glad I got into this because it means that I'm going to have multiple skills that I can add to my CV in the future. I've also added to my CV work as a waitress in hospitality because I feel like a lot of the skills that you pick up are very useful. So patience, organisation, how fast you work, and etc. They all matter in the industry and they'll all be taken on board by future employers. So I think that's really important to put in. So alongside my experience, I've popped my grades at the bottom, which are important for employers to know, and also my contacts, which is also You can reach those on my homepage as well and on the contact part here. So we'll go through my website now. This is my homepage. Again, just a simple layout with my contacts at the bottom, what you can follow me on, and a small paragraph about what I do and what I want to be able to get up to in the future. Again, my name is clearly displayed and a photo of me is there. So we've been on my resume and just popping onto projects. So we've been on home, just showing it how it works. If you pop on projects, it's also labelled under my work on the home screen. Displayed at the top is my live brief project that I did with a group of individuals on the professional practice course. I think it's been a big experience because I've been able to work on a professional level for someone as big as Prison Radio, and create a project for them that we've made ourselves that they may want to project in the future. So we got given a brief and that's all on here labelled, so you can access it on YouTube later on. Down here is my show reel. I'll show you in a second. It's all my previous work put together from inside uni, outside uni, in school, and everything that I've put together is, I think, is important towards what future employers might look for. So I'll click on my show reel here. It should go through to the YouTube page. If not, I've got it up here as well. Actually, we'll close this and put it through YouTube because I know it's working. That's not the one. Here we go. So that was my live brief project. I've popped in there because I feel like it's an important part of my work, and my documentaries are the first thing that I've labelled throughout this. Actualities and attention to skill in filming as well. I've popped that in there, as well as my drama, shorts and short films that I've done previously in school and uni. So just there I showed you some of my show reel and what is involved in it. So I've got my documentaries, my drama, and filming, acting, sound, audio, directing, producing has all been put into that. So hopefully future employers will look at that and think, look at what she's done. We can get her on as a runner, and in the future I might be able to build my skills. So going on now to my live brief work. As you saw before, I've got it down here on my projects. And with my project, I worked with a team of individuals to create a discussion about how the public view ex-convicts or people who have been in prison. What we were going for was a BuzzFeed kind of thing. So I found this video to show you an example. It's kind of like a little discussion between people, and they find out more about themselves or about the subject that they're discussing. So for ours, what we planned to do was have Derek, our professional, and two members of the public whose opinions might have been naive or vulnerable, and talk to him about what it's really like. And it went really well, in my opinion. Our team worked really well together, very closely, and we built up some contacts from it. We got people involved that we didn't get to put in the project, but we can then contact again for future reference. We all attended meetings with contributors. We went to filming and editing, and it just went really well. Everything ran smoothly, and I definitely do a group project again like this. I feel like being put under pressure of a brief means that you work better together because you just want to get something done and create it to your standard, which will then be portrayed to future employers, like I said before. And yeah, I think it went really well. What have I learned about myself? Throughout this project, I've learned that I can be confident. I can contact people, and I know now not to be afraid because they're not scary people. They're people like you and me who just are doing a job. And if I can work my way up through that position as runner, I could be exactly the same and offering positions like that in the future if I'm very lucky. But yeah, I feel a lot more strong and confident about myself and putting myself out there. As you can see, I wouldn't have been able to do this vlog before this module, and I've done it. So thank you very much. Thank you. Goodbye.